Today we are going to be making some quick pickles. We have a lot of cucumbers we're going to be using today, making a quick recipe to preserve them. So the first thing we're going to do is julienne our carrots, and the reason we're going to julienne our vegetables is because they're going to go in jars. So what you want to do is create kind of like long strips. That's what julienne means. So see how it's like a nice long strip? We're going to do that with all the carrots, with our cucumbers, and with our onion. So you're going to get these kind of shape, and I think for our purposes today we're probably going to need to cut them in half, or at least part of them, cut part of them off, or else they won't fit. So I'm going to put them in here. I'm going to do that with all the carrots. Next we're going to do our cucumber, and you want to select a cucumber that still has a nice firm skin, and with this recipe you don't need to peel the cucumber. You can just leave it as is. So we're going to cut it in half lengthwise, and then cut these halves again lengthwise as best you can. Then we'll lay them flat like that, just kind of similar to how we did with the carrot, and we'll create little, almost like matchsticks. So that's how you julienne a cucumber. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to julienne is our onion. Now, one thing I've heard is that if you don't cut the end off, it won't make you cry as much. So let's give that a shot. So we're going to go in lengthwise like this. And what our goal is to get these nice long pieces like this, nice thin pieces like that. And we'll put those in here once we're done. Next, we're going to take all our vegetables that we've mixed together, and we're going to put them inside of our jar. Now you want to make sure that the vegetables don't get too high, and one thing that helps me is if I place the vegetables in sort of upright like this. And if you're noticing that it's too tall like this, you're just going to have to cut some off with your knife, which is here. Like so. And then it'll fit in the jar a little bit better. There we go. That's great. And you're going to want to put kind of an even amount of each vegetable. So a little bit of onion, a little bit of carrot, a little bit of cucumber, and just go until, let's see, this one's a little tall too. Just go until you've filled your jar. Next we're going to make our sauce. I just like to mix it inside here, a little measuring cup. We're going to put in 3/4 cup of white vinegar. There we go. Then we're going to add a tablespoon of salt, kosher salt. Okay. And 4 teaspoons of sugar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4 teaspoons of sugar, a tablespoon of salt, and we're going to mix that with 1.5 cups of warm water, and then we're going to stir. Okay, so then we're going to pour the water in to our mixing bowl or into your measuring cup, and we're going to stir it until the sugar and the salt are dissolved. So this is kind of like you're making a brine. And the sugar and the salt are what works as the preservative for our cucumber and our other vegetables, carrots and onions in this case. And we're also going to control for the growth of bacteria with the temperature. So we're going to use the refrigerator as a control for bacterial growth. We're going to add our brine to our vegetables, and we want to cover our vegetables with them. Just like that. Then you're going to want to put these in the refrigerator, and you can, for at least 3 hours before you eat them, and they can stay in the refrigerator for about 2 weeks. So this is a really fun and easy way to make a quick refrigerator pickle, and you can do this with all kinds of vegetables.